Would you like to stop feeling like you're behind in life? You've come to the right place because in today's video, I'm going to share with you how to stop feeling like you're falling behind. So watch this video to the end to learn the 5 steps to no longer feeling like you're behind in life. Hi, I'm Jo Randolph and I'm a branding consultant who helps women become experts and leaders in the field they care about most. On this channel, I share with you how to get the job you want and how to become an expert and leader in your field so your career is something you love and supports the life you want. If you want to watch videos like this, come and join me and subscribe because I post new videos every single week. Anyways, let's get right into this. Whether you think about your finances, where you are in your career, where you are in your relationship, maybe the life that you have now isn't exactly what you pictured yourself to be doing at this point in your life. And the challenge is that you don't really know what to do about it because there isn't really a quick fix to the problem. There isn't really a way to kind of help you get to exactly where you want to be overnight. Well, you've come to the right place because in today's video, I'm going to share with you the 5 steps that you need to take to start feeling good about yourself, about your life, and exactly where you are right now. Now let's first start with the number 1 mistake you want to avoid, which is that you compare yourself against your idea of success. Now this is particularly true if your idea of success is in your mind, it's in your head. Now there are kind of 2 ways that you can do this. One way is if you compare yourself to other people that you see and thought, wow, they really have their life together. They have the job, or they have the relationship, or they have the family, or they have the lifestyle that I wish I had. And you compare where you are right now to them and it makes you not feel so good about what you have. The other way is when you actually are just really your own harshest critic. And so you think about where you thought you would be by this time in your life, and where you thought you would be by this time in your life doesn't match up to your expectations of yourself. And often when you have one or the other, or you have both, it's really gut-wrenching, because even if someone like me says, oh no honey, you're doing great, or darling, you're doing fantastic, don't beat yourself up too much. Even if people like me say it, it doesn't change the fact that that is how you feel. Now the reason why this is a mistake is because the truth is, your idea of success will rarely actually match up to your reality. And the reason for this is because our perception of what we think is perfect often isn't the reality. So for example, let's say for example you had a dream wedding. So I don't know if you've been married, if you don't want to get married, if you want to get married, I don't know what your relationship situation is, but let's imagine for a moment that you were imagining your dream wedding. And in your dream wedding, you would have the perfect guy, the perfect flowers, the perfect day, and everything would go according to plan. But anyone who's been married knows that the reality of a wedding is actually very different to what they actually pictured. Because on the day, so many things can go wrong. The caterers can make a mistake, the flowers might be problematic, the music might not play well, you might trip while you walk down the aisle. Point is that so many things can go wrong and you just kind of have to embrace it. Now I remember when I got married, I had no idea of what my dream wedding would be, and I just kind of created it from the reality of what we had, from our budget, from where we wanted to get married right now, from the dress that I felt like wearing. And the point is that I was actually able to enjoy the day much more because I didn't have some sort of expectation on what my perfect wedding would be. And the second thing to consider is that even if your reality meets your expectations, often you actually end up raising your expectations higher. When you're in this state of always wanting more and always want to achieve more, even when you actually do really well, even when you actually have things really good, unless you take a moment to appreciate how far you've come and what you've achieved and what you've done, it's very easy to actually always be thinking about more. And so you have to ask yourself, are you feeling behind because you are genuinely not doing what you feel you are aligned to be doing, or you genuinely feel there is a mismatch between what you believe to be true to yourself and what you believe to be the reality? Or is it because you just want more and more? And the reality is that if you always want more, that will always be the case. You'll always set a new goal, you'll always want to achieve something new, and it's very difficult for you to actually stop feeling like you're falling behind because the goalpost has just kept on moving forward. So the big question is, how do you stop feeling like you're behind? And also, how do you stop feeling bad when you compare yourself to your idea of success? Well, there are really 5 steps you can take. Now, the first step is to listen to stories about people going through or who have been through a really, really difficult time in their life. Just last night, I was watching a TV show where a guy went to a memorial and he was looking at the thousands and thousands of graves that had been laid there from soldiers who had been in a war. And he was thinking about how the challenges that those soldiers had in their life, and also the way they died, and the way that their deaths also impacted their families, it was just so difficult for them, and it was such a trying time for them, that his situation was nothing compared to that. And it always helped him to kind of really just recollect himself and realize, you know what, my life might not be what I thought it would be, but the nice thing is that I have a body, I have a family, I have my family, I have a home, I have food on the table, and it really helped him to be grateful. So just really get present to the fact that whatever you're going through, usually there's someone who is in a worse off position than you. And the second step is to be grateful for the little things that you have. Perhaps have a daily practice where you take a moment, whether it's first thing in the morning when you wake up, whether it's while you have breakfast, you just take a moment to think about 5 things you are grateful for. The more things you find to be grateful for, the more you'll actually enjoy your life, and the more you'll actually feel like or you aren't as far behind as you thought you would. The third thing to do is then become obsessed with people who have transformed their situation from A to B. Think about the area of your life that you are feeling most stuck. So this could be your career, this could be your relationship, this could be your health, this could be something. And think about that area, and I want you to just take a moment sometime this weekend, sometime this week, to actually find stories of people who have been through a really difficult time in their life similar to yours and that have come out on the other end. So for example, there was a time when I was actually writing emails and stories for survivors of domestic violence and domestic abuse. And it was actually really difficult because I am not familiar with domestic violence or abuse, and yet I still had to write content and emails and courses and lessons to help them feel confident through their situation. And it was really, really difficult for me to understand how to best help them because that was my intention. But what I learned whilst doing this was that there were so many stories of so many women who were survivors and who did go through a difficult time, and most importantly, they were stronger. And whenever I heard their stories, I just thought, wow, these women are amazing. And as I started to find those stories, I also started to learn that when they heard stories of other women in similar situations who had been through worse than them or who had been through something as challenging as them and they got through it, it gave them confidence. It gave them faith that, you know what, if so-and-so can do it, then I can do it. So what I want you to think about is really try and take a moment sometime this week or this weekend, to really, really discover stories that will inspire you to keep going and to actually see what is possible for you. And the fourth thing you want to do is you then want to develop habits that make you feel good about yourself and your life. So one thing you can do is gratitude. Another thing you can do is exercising. I know that when I exercise, I feel good about myself. When I don't exercise, I don't feel good about myself. So get really present to the things that you do on a weekly basis or a daily basis that make you feel good, and do more of those things on a consistent basis, and do less of the things that make you not feel so good. For me, it was sugar. Like if I had lots and lots of Haribos, in the moment I'll feel good, but later on I'll feel worse because my skin would get worse and I'd feel like, oh, I shouldn't have had those Haribos. And then it would go into my story about how I'm not perfect and how I need to get my stuff together and all that sort of stuff. However, if I actually focused on doing things that made me feel good about myself, it was so good because it helped me break that cycle and actually start to feel positive about myself and my life. And then last but not least is you want to really investigate why you feel the way that you do. Even if you try a lot of things and you find it's not working and you still feel like you're falling behind, the reason for that is because usually there's something deeper that you need to learn about yourself in order for you to no longer feel this way. Sometimes the way we feel or the way that we see the world is really kind of like a hook. And imagine that something has caught you or hooked you And until you take this hook off of you, you aren't free to live life and enjoy life to the fullest. And what you want to do is you want to find that hook. For example, for me, something that I've always struggled with is actually feeling like I can put myself out there. So even though I put out YouTube videos on a regular basis, and I might come across as confident and I've just put myself out there, deep down inside, I have spent years and years and years thinking and feeling like people don't really want to watch my videos. Even now, anytime someone watches my videos, I'm like, ooh, I get really excited, because anytime any one person watches my videos, I am so grateful. And the reason why I felt like no one wanted to watch my videos was because I didn't feel as though I looked like what people wanted to see on TV. Now, I'm darker in complexion than some people, and when I grew up, I didn't see a lot of darker skinned people on TV. So that's something that's always made me feel like, oh, I don't know whether people would be interested in watching my videos. And that is just something that has always held me back. But until I actually identified what triggered that, and for me what triggered that was that I went to pretty much an all-white private school in England. And even though I went to international schools when I was younger, when I was a teenager and I was really starting to find myself and trying to find my confidence, that was at a time when I was at an all-white school where all the girls looked very different to me. They were amazing girls and I loved those girls, but I obviously looked very different. And because I looked so different, I felt very different. And I actually ended up carrying that feeling of being different all the way through my adulthood and right now into my very late 20s. And it wasn't until I recognized that I realized that simply that thought was actually keeping me stuck. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that you really want to get clear on what's triggered you to have these thoughts about yourself. And once you identify what's triggered that, then it becomes really easy to actually move on from it. Then you're able to unhook this thing that's been holding you back, and you're able to be free and to do what you really want to do. Anyways, that's it. Those are the 5 steps. I really hope you found this video useful or helpful in some way. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd love to create more videos for you. Oh, but before we go, I would love to know, why don't you tell me what's one area that you would love to move forward in your life? So just one area in your life that you would like to improve. Let me know by leaving a comment in the box below. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and I shall see you again next week. All right, bye.